Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's finally here. After years of waiting and 3 delays, it's finally here. Cyberpunk 2077, the action-packed first-person RPG from the good folks at CD Projekt Red. I'm excited to tell you guys about the game, so I'm going to skip through all the small talk and get right to it. In true breakdown fashion, I'll be going through the ins, the outs, the ups and downs of the game, and telling you guys everything you need to know in order for you to decide if you'd buy the game or not. The obvious answer is yes in this case, but if you need more convincing, I got you covered. Now, this is probably the longest and most in-depth breakdown I've done so far, and you may have to watch it 2 or 3 times to absorb everything. So strap in and let's go. First up is character creation. You can select one of 3 life paths in the beginning. Corpo, which means you'll be rubbing elbows with Night City's elite. Street Kid, where you get your start in the slums. Or Nomad, where you're a scavenger who frequents the Badlands, an area outside Night City that can only be described as Mad Max adjacent. Each life path starts the game in a different way and can also open up additional dialogue options throughout the story. You've got quite a wide range of parts you can edit on your character, from the tits to the dicks. Use tattoos, face paint, piercings, and some basic facial feature options to get your character looking the way you want. Then we get some free attribute points to allocate. Attributes have accompanying perks for greater skill customization, and they are a big part of your gameplay, so bear with me while I quickly run through these. The body attribute increases melee damage, health, and stamina. The 3 perks under body are Athletics, which focuses on stamina-based movements, Annihilation, which focuses on shotgun and LMG effectiveness, and Street Brawler, which increases your effectiveness with all blunt weapons, including fists. The Reflexes attribute deals with stats like evasion, crit chance, and such. Its 3 perks are Assault, which helps rifles and SMGs, Handguns, which helps pistols and revolvers, and Blades, which makes all bladed weapons much more deadly. The Technical ability increases your technological know-how. It's got 2 perks. Crafting, which eventually lets you assemble weapons of all rarities, and Engineering, which allows for nuanced effects like shooting through walls, gaining immunity to certain statuses, and also boosting your effectiveness with tech weapons. Intelligence makes your hacking skills more potent. Its 2 perks are Breach Protocol, which increases the debuffs that your network-wide hacks inflict on enemies, and Quick Hacking, strengthening your on-the-fly single-target hacks like optic resets or short circuits. Quick Hacking is exactly as it sounds, while Breach Protocols are a little more involved, but way more rewarding. Lastly, the Cool attribute, which serves your ability to effectively stealth and also enables more dialogue options. Its 2 perks are Stealth, which affects crouch speed and opens up more chances for silent attacks like knife throwing, and Cool Blood, which increases your movement speed for a short time after enemy kills and other bonus effects to help you out while the Cold Blood buff is active. Perk trees also have skill progression meters which fill as you utilize combat or gameplay techniques from each perk, unlocking even more boosts and bonuses for your character. To sum it all up, attributes affect the basic stats, while perk trees provide passive skills to deepen or specialize your character's build. Over time, you will become the lean, mean, technologically advanced killing machine you've always wanted to be.
Fuck's your problem, Psycho Suit? Doesn't look like a landing pad to you? Could have fucking crushed us. Jesus Christ.
Okay, no, hey, we ain't looking for no beef with you.
Cyberpunk 2077 starts us off on one of 3 life paths, but all end with you and Jackie Wells starting your sketchy career in Night City together. If you want each prologue to be a surprise for when you play the game, I advise you skip ahead to the indicated time on screen now. Our resident Drake Darksider chose Nomad, so he started with V prepping to leave the Badlands and leave his Nomad days behind. Sheriff Asshole shows up for the purpose of expediting your departure, as well as being a general nuisance. V heads for a radio tower to call Willie McCoy, presumably a fixer. Willie informs you that Jackie Wells, your client, needs help on a cargo transportation job, one that will get you across the border into Night City. Easy, right? Border Customs stop you for further questioning regarding your cargo, and once you get through the checkpoint, you're set upon by a squad of Arasaka agents because the cargo, unbeknownst to you and Jackie, is stolen Arasaka property. To top it off, you are a nomad with no clan backing you, so you're easy pickings for a robbery. Once you lose your tail, you and Jackie get to talking and you decide to work together on making a living in Night City. Corpo starts you off as an Arasaka employee going through some rough times, with Jackie being your lifelong friend but not necessarily a fan of your corpo lifestyle. Your boss, Arthur Jenkins, has been getting pressed by one of the higher-ups, Susan Abernathy, and he wants you, his star pupil, to carry out a hit on her. He stresses you should bring someone you can trust, so naturally you bring Jackie. Before the hit can even happen, you get ambushed by fellow Arasaka employees who hack you and cut you off from the Arasaka network entirely. Job money, company standing, everything out the window. Jackie makes sure bullets don't start flying, and then after you realize your cushy life has come to a sharp and permanent halt, you take the money you've got left and start fresh in Night City. I myself almost chose Corpo, but after taking mental stock of all the possible character designs I could make and which ones I wanted to spend 500 plus hours using, I went the Street Kid way. My story starts off talking to Pepe, owner and proprietor of the El Coyote Kojo, a bar/hangout for lowlifes, like me. He mentions he has a debt to pay to this cred shark named Kirk, so I offer to go talk to him.
What, he too shy to hand over the Eddies himself? Tell him I don't bite. Not yet.
How's your problem?
He gives you a job to steal a car and lays the plan out, making it sound like a sure thing, like we don't know how this is gonna go. After you fail to snatch the ride, you meet Jackie, and then after you two wake up from a police-induced nap, you two go get some lunch, and the start of a beautiful friendship ensues. I especially like the whole montage of you and Jackie working, pulling off jobs, meeting people, and hanging out at different places and moving up in the world. Cyberpunk's map is pretty big, but I'm glad not too big because I'm not one for long drives in real life, and that goes doubly so for games. Also, I doubt Jackie's going to drive us around forever. Night City's broken down into 6 districts: Watson, Westbrook, the City Center, Haywood, Santo Domingo, and Pacifica. We're also shown what street gangs operate out of what districts, so you'll always have a pretty good idea of who's trying to kill you. The streets are sprinkled with different shops and attractions, such as clothing shops, weapon shops, brothels, and anywhere else you think a good time might be had. One of these good times is the Ripper Doc, a questionably qualified medical unofficial who can hook you up with cybernetic implants or other mechanical replacements for your fleshy bits. We'll dive more into that later. Night City is also bustling and truly alive with natural activity. You'll see people hard at work.
Treat yourself to a little RELAXXX.
Gangsters shaking down shop owners.
The stand's Tiger Claw's property, and you're Tiger Claw's property.
And some people out shopping with their friends for exotic goods.
What's this one do? Use your imagination. Why do you think I came here? So I wouldn't have to.
Yeah, I can see that.
The NPCs you meet throughout your Night City escapades all have memorable personalities and appearances, so even the characters that are around for just a short time still have an impact.
You close to.
You too. Come in.
If you're ever walking the streets, don't be afraid to chat up the locals.
Hey! Hey you! I gotta get to a Ripper, man!
It's also possible to romance some of the important characters in the game, but I haven't yet reached the point where I can do that. My guess is if it works like any other RPG, just be extra nice to whoever you want to get with, and you'll eventually seal the deal. If you're not already in some kind of trouble, chances are you'll be looking for trouble to get into. Fixers in each district can set you up with jobs to be carried out at their instruction. This is where street cred comes in. Your street cred is a leveling system that indicates your reputation or standing in Night City. More street cred means more shop inventory and more opportunities will make themselves available to you through fixers, whether it be hired gun jobs, thieving missions, stolen cars for sale, as well as more bountiful job awards. You can even get paid contracts from the NCPD to do some police work. Things must be pretty bad in Night City for them to delegate crime fighting to anyone with a gun. Different jobs and events also keep you apprised of how hard enemies will be by marking the activity with a threat level. Good to know so you won't walk into a gunfight that you won't walk away from. You don't get to do real detective work for the police, however. That's a thrill you can save for yourself. Sometimes you'll have to do what's called a brain dance. Someone will use a special optic implant to record a conversation or situation, and then undergoing a brain dance allows you to relive every single aspect of the recorded moments through the point of view of whoever was recording, seeing what they saw and feeling what they felt. You can rewind, fast forward, pause, or play at any point in recording, singling out visual, thermal, or audio aspects to be scanned or listened to for evidence or information you may need. It makes me wish we could actually join law enforcement in some capacity, bringing justice to the ne'er-do-wells of Night City. And by justice, I mean a healthy dose of lead. Now, whether you're taking loot, taking lives, or taking no prisoners, you'll need the right arsenal for the job. You can equip a variety of gear to use as physical protection, a flex of your Second Amendment rights, a fashion statement, or all the above. Your character has 7 clothing slots, 2 quick access combat gadgets, 3 weapon slots, cyberware, and a cyber deck. Clothing drops in one of 5 rarities and can be bought at stores or found on bodies because nothing says Night City quite like blasting a man at point blank range with a shotgun and taking his pants. Clothing provides armor, additional stat bonuses, and mod slots at higher rarities, so always keep your threads fresh. Guns also drop as one of 5 rarities and come in 3 types: power, tech, and smart. Power gun shots have a chance to ricochet off surfaces when fired, the likelihood of which can be increased via implants and perks. Tech shots can be charged for greater damage or additional projectiles, and smart shots send out micro projectiles and can home in on enemies provided you have the proper cyberware, but typically do less damage because of this. Guns can also have 2 attachment slots, 1 for sight and 1 for muzzle, and a maximum of 4 mod slots, and mods can either be found or bought from weapon shops. Melee weapons can be blunt or bladed. The damage output, status chance, and any other relevant stats for melee weapons or guns can be improved via the perk trees, and upgrades. Weapons and clothing can all be crafted from scratch or upgraded via the crafting menu. The materials you need to do these upgrades or create anything can be found by dismantling all the trash weapons and clothing you come across, or by visiting a junk dealer to purchase the materials. Attributes we discussed at length earlier, but what I did not mention is that you can buy an item called a Tabula Rasa to reset your perk points whenever. The catch? It'll cost you around 80 to 100,000 eddies, and I can think of a lot of cyberware I can buy with that instead, so hopefully my explanation of the attributes will save you some money. Cyberware can be installed in a number of places and offer a range of effects. Your frontal cortex, which requires a high intelligence attribute and affects RAM recovery rates. Your ocular system, meaning your eyes, which affects scanning abilities. Your circulatory system, concerning all things health. Your immune system, for boosting your resistances against status ailments. Your nervous system, for heightening combat reflexes. Your integumentary system, for subdermal armor upgrades. Your skeleton, affecting carrying capacity or maximum health. Your hands for coprocessors used with power weapons, smart links to use tech weapons, and other weapon handling changes. Your arms, which can augment melee combat with things like gorilla strength or mantis blades. And your legs, which can grant you abilities like charge jumps or double jumps. You may as well go full Terminator since Night City be wildin'. Cyberware can be found on corpses sometimes, but your best bet is to visit your local Ripper dock and bring your life savings because good cyberware is not cheap at all. Your cyber deck determines how much RAM you have at your disposal and what kinds of hacks you can perform on devices or enemies. RAM is the resource that determines what kind of hacks you can use and how often you can use them. Hacks on devices can mean disabling cameras, hijacking cameras, or using any other devices within scanner range to attract enemies, making them go investigate. Some hacks used directly on enemies are lethal, some are non-lethal, and some are purely for the purpose of distraction. It all depends on how you want to play. Enemy groups will often have a netrunner in their ranks. Netrunners can hack you from a distance, causing you to short out, overheat, or any other debilitating statuses, so be sure to track them down as soon as possible, otherwise you'll have to contend with that while the other enemies move in on your position, and we don't want that. Getting better cyber decks will give you more hacks to choose from, more RAM to use, and more mod slots to make your hacks more effective. After getting used to all the different methods and approaches to combat and getting familiar with what weapons will best serve your playstyle, you will have a blast. Whether you want to be a ninja, employing mantis blades and stealth to silently dispatch foes, going guns blazing with all your points dumped into the Annihilation perk tree, or be a netrunner, hacker extraordinaire and master manipulator, or all the above, you can do it. I began the game on hard mode and it was brutal, walking from fight to fight getting my ass kicked before getting the proper equipment to effectively defend myself. Now, I have seen numerous reports of bugs and hiccups from console users, specifically the last-gen consoles. Drake Darksider is playing on a PS4 and he can confirm that there are clipping issues and texture popping along with some mild frame rate issues. On PC, I was also experiencing frame rate issues until I checked the game's video settings and saw that my graphics were set to Ray Tracing Ultra by default. So after fixing that and tweaking some other stuff like turning off film grain and motion blur, everything stabilized. So, when you start up the game, do not let your excitement distract you from checking your settings. There are also some hilarious clothing and penis glitches, but I'll let you guys discover those on your own. All of that being said, I'm about 25 hours into the game so far, and the list of places to go, contracts to fulfill, and enemies to stab just keeps getting longer with no perceptible end in sight. Sure, there are some bugs, but none of which are more significant than the ones I mentioned earlier. I'm just saying, there's a reason Cyberpunk 2077 had the biggest PC launch in gaming history. Cyberpunk 2077 is available now on PS4 and PS5, Xbox One and the Series X, Microsoft Windows, and Google Stadia, with its standalone multiplayer mode slated to launch probably close to 2022, but don't quote me on that. Oh, and I forgot to mention earlier, if you make a GOG Galaxy account and link it with whatever platform you are playing 2077 on, you will get a handful of Witcher-themed clothing items and a katana inspired by the Black Unicorn sword from The Witcher 3, all for use in-game. Now, if you all don't mind, I have people to shoot and eddies to earn. As always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. In case I don't talk to you guys again for the remainder of the year, I'd like to wish you all happy holidays and happy new year. This has been Cygnus Jason with GameSide, signing off. See you all in 2021.